03 3333 on a day that experts from Public Health England are warning that middle-aged people in England, yes, that's probably you, 40 to 60-year-olds face 40 to 60-year-olds, not 6-year-olds, face a health crisis because of unhealthy lifestyles. I'm asking you, are you in denial about your health? 0345 303 3333. Well, listening to the very interesting comments from Shaquille and also from Mary, both in Bradford, is Niri Patel from Holmfirth. Niri runs Fit 20, which, as I understand it, is a new fitness concept aimed at people in this very age group we're talking about, 40 plus. Niri, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Andrew. Season's greetings to you.
And to you, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, very good indeed. Lovely to hear you. Now, just explain very quickly what you do, and then we'll come on to the wider issues here, because you seem to be doing something which is aimed full square at the age group that we're having the discussion about.
Sure. We help people to get fit in just 20 minutes a week using high-intensity training, and they do it in their normal clothes. They don't have to worry about changing into Lycra. How
can you do high-intensity training without getting all horribly sweaty over your ordinary clothes?
Sounds too good to be true, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yes.
It's done in slow motion with a really heavy weight using fixed machines in an air-conditioned room. And the idea is that, of course, you are going to generate heat when you're exerting on such a heavy load. But because it's done slowly and the room is air-cooled to 17 degrees, the heat has time to dissipate so you don't build up sweat.
So me going home on the bike and going a bit fast uphill on Meanwood Road, the heat certainly doesn't dispel, and I'm like a damp rag often when I get out. So you're doing something a bit different from that.
Correct. It's done in slow motion to allow the heat to dissipate, but you're still using all the different muscle fibre types, which you wouldn't do while you're cycling.
I'm very intrigued. Now, let's just address this general question. I'm asking, are you in denial about your health? Middle-aged people are facing a health crisis. What about you? Do you mind me asking then what age group you're in, Niri?
I'm right in there in middle age. Does 49 count as middle age?
Well, if you're going to call it that, I probably better as well, because I'm about to turn 50. So we're right in the middle of that. So are you in denial about your health, Niri?
I wouldn't say I am now, but I have been. And it was only really when I got so ill that I thought something has to change, that was the wake-up call, and I realised that I needed to make some changes.
What happened when you say you got ill?
I had recurring tonsillitis, which doesn't sound like too much, but now they call it chronic fatigue. And I made some dietary and lifestyle changes, and this was when I was 25, the age when I was supposed to be going out partying with all my friends.
Goodness, and we're talking about a long time ago when you had that wake-up call then.
Yeah, 25 years ago, and I'd been to the doctors. I used to work in the city in London, had a well-paid but stressful job. I went through various specialists down Harley Street on the company-paid medical plan, tried all sorts of treatments, nothing worked, and happened to fall across a book that said, try these different things, change your diet, change your life, and it literally has.
I've done this Public Health England quiz today, which takes you through the fairly obvious stuff, what you eat, whether you smoke or not, what you drink and when you drink, and exercise. I come out as a 7, which in the office, and I thought I'm going to do this completely honestly, in the office there are a few people saying, oh, you'll do really well, Andrew, and I thought I'm not going to do brilliantly because I know that I used to run quite a lot, and for various reasons, I won't bore everybody with, I cycle and walk regularly, but I don't exercise in that formal sense as much, and that is where they said I could do more. And also I said honestly on there, I would normally have a drink, I think Christmas week's probably a little bit different, but I would normally have a drink on a Friday and a Saturday, and they said that even though I don't drink a lot by their estimate, I could spread that. So those were 2 factors they picked up on. I never smoked, so I got a green light for that. I'm a fairly healthy eater, so I got a green light for that. Does the sort of what people perceive as the finger wagging do any good, do you think, Niri?
I think for most people it doesn't, you know. We live in an age where people are so well informed with things like Google that, you know, generally I don't like being told what to do, and most of the people I know don't as well. But I think when you have common sense advice, people can't argue with that. And I also think that it's not rocket science what you need to do. You know, you need to eat reasonably well. You need to move more than you probably are. And if you are going to drink, drink in moderation. And if you asked anybody, they'd say, well, I know that. And it's going from...
So why are we... sorry to interrupt, but why then are we having this very discussion? Because, I mean, it can be no coincidence that Public Health England have decided to launch this on a waiting world in the week between Christmas and New Year, when we've had one binge and we're going for another. They clearly have thought about this. It's going to be a big deal. There'll be people feeling guilty, thinking I need to do something about my life. they've used this phrase, one of the medical experts, modifiable risk factors, which is an interesting thing. It basically means, do more and eat less, or drink less, or smoke less, whatever it may be. I'm intrigued by where that gets us, given you've said that we all know this anyway.
I think the number one thing is convenience. One of your previous callers, Mary, I think, was talking about big portions. And it's convenience-driven food, the sandwich generation. It's a convenience food. And people don't have time, especially if you've got kids as well. People are so busy. And then you're told that you have to exercise at least 3 times a week in a certain way. And January is a great time for everyone to make resolutions and start off with the best of intentions. The car park will be completely full at the local gym in January. By February, it'll be empty. You think it's shut down.
Let me ask you a final question, Niri. If you were to go on this questionnaire now, and you put in that you were doing the intense exercise that you've just described, once a week, I think you said, for 20 minutes.
Correct.
I think that the website would think you ought to be doing more than that more often.
It has. I did the quiz just before I came on your show.
I was hoping you might say
I
that.
thought you might ask me about
Yes,
that.
what did you end up with then, Niri?
Well, I got an 8. And I got everything in the green for eating, drinking and smoking. I'm a non-smoker. I hardly ever drink. I had 1 beer over Christmas, and I took a sip of it. It tasted nice, and then after that it didn't taste very good.
Look at you. You must be in a small category in West Yorkshire. We'll move on from that, yes.
I live opposite a pub as well, so there you go. And on the moving, it said that I could do with moving more.
Yeah, as mine did, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were an 8. I was a 7. Richard Stead, who you'll hear again on BBC Radio Leeds tomorrow morning from 9, he came out as a 3. 8 in 10 of us are going to come out as basically having a health crisis. Are you surprised by that, Niri?
Sadly not, but I do believe there's a way forward, because if we can give our body a jump start to change those habits, and with just 20 minutes a week you can get that jump start, then it will make you want to do more exercise.
Interesting. Well, it's been really interesting to speak to you, and I thank you for getting in touch. Lovely to hear your voice. Thanks, Niri.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Niri Patel from Home Firth. He runs Fit 20, that new fitness concept he explained very clearly at the beginning. It's aimed at the age group we're talking about, people aged 40 plus, heavyweight, 20 minutes, but in an air-conditioned place. Sort of the premium temperature for doing that in your ordinary clothes. Intriguing. 0345 303 3333. Really like to speak to you. Are you in denial about your health? And I'm intrigued by this, whether you